In this video, I wanted to show some of the 3D capabilities of Illustrator. I've noticed that Illustrator has gotten better and better at doing 3D, and in one of the more recent releases, they actually had a new 3D effect. So there used to be a 3D classic effect here, but this one up here is actually a lot better. So I'm going to show you how to use that. Let's say we have a cube, something like this, and we will go up to Effect and Extrude and Bevel. And here you'll see the panel with different options. You can make this go out farther. There's even these twist effects and tapering. First of all, I think you should see the different 3D types. I can show some examples of that, but up here you'll see the rotation preset. So you can actually rotate this around as you need to. And for something like, I should point this out, when you have this perspective selected, it's going to do a little bit more foreshortening. So let me actually get to a better spot where you can see that. Oh, let me go. Okay. If you do this, you can see there's more foreshortening happening. And if we wanted to do something like isometric, this is really easy now because there's just an isometric left, isometric right, top, and bottom. So this is a really quick and easy way to get 3D in your files. There's also materials here that you can add. This is a default material that's based off of the color that you selected. We can always change this and that'll be reflected there, or we can even use one of these preloaded materials, and you can even add them here. But there's some examples of things like this. And then this last bit here is lighting. You can actually move the lighting around here. Some presets here. You can change the intensity. You can rotate it, move it around. Softness. Also, whether or not there's ambient light. Ambient light is going to light some of these edges. Otherwise, everything's going to be in shadow that's not hit by the light. And there's even settings for shadows if you want to cast shadows up here. So super powerful, and I think it's pretty easy to use. Let's do an example of some other things that we might want to create. This 3D effect will work with things like type. I could take this type right here. Maybe I'll just change the color right now, and I'll go up to the effect and 3D and materials, extrude and bevel. And so, yeah, we can create 3D type like this. We can do a little bit of tapering if we need to, make it go into perspective, rotate it around, get it how we want it. So that's one example. And one thing that's nice about this type is that it's editable. So I could change this to 3D Illustrator or something, whatever it needs to be. But yeah, I have control over that, and then I can always go in and change that out. Another thing we could do is another type of 3D form that we could do. This is something you might want to do if you're making like a vase or some sort of vessel to hold something. You could basically make this kind of spline like this and rotate it around and make a 3D form. So you can see that's just the line. If I show you that, this is just that line. And I'll go back into the 3D materials and you can do a revolve. And so that will create this kind of 3D shape. So that might be something that you might have a need for. And one thing I'm going to work with now is like just making a Lego block and then playing around some materials with that. So if I wanted a Lego block that's like a square, I could just click here and maybe I'll say 40 by 40 so that it's a square. Go into extrude. For the depth, I'll do 40. And this is something I could do for like an isometric view. And then I will go in here and make a circle. Imagine that little peg that's on the top of the Lego, and we can extrude this as well. I'm going to change this to isometric top. Probably don't need it to go that far out. So maybe that's only like 10. But yeah, if I wanted to make this, I could do it like that, or I could also scale this down to get it the right size. I can align them, if they were a little bit off, I could always align them. Right, another thing you can do, there are a few other options I wanted to just dive into real quick. This is the cube that we made, and from this, you could go in and turn on a bevel. This bevel, you can see it comes out. You can change the shape of that, change the height of it. You can even create these steps in it if you'd want to. You can go inside. All right, I'm going to turn that off actually. And let's see, one other thing to try is maybe if you just want the sort of outline, you could expand it as wireframes. So that's an option if you're trying to create some sort of diagram. I believe that once you do that, though, you lose this editing capability. So that's something you might want to be aware of. Maybe save that later. And let's see, there's different caps here that you can turn them on and off. Turn cap off for a hollow appearance. And then under materials, there's you can do materials or you can do graphics here. So these were just some preloaded graphics in Illustrator, but you could put these on the object itself. If you wanted to create some sort of material, like let's say I wanted to create a checkerboard pattern. Maybe I'll turn these off, or maybe I'll make this white. You can go into your go into symbols, and where's my symbols? Right here. You can create a new symbol out of that. Make it a graphic, checkerboard, and once you do that, let me close this. You should be able to go into here and you can access that checkerboard. It's not going to repeat it, but you might be able to edit it a little bit and move it around. And then these things are stacked. So it looks like, I had multiple ones, but you can delete these as needed. Maybe I don't need the vector grime, or I can move this around. So that just kind of shows you, you could put a label on this. This is not really a great example because it's kind of small. But if I wanted a checkerboard, I would make like a larger checkerboard to put on it. All right. We could also use this technique with type to create a label or some other pattern on this. I'm just going to make a label right now. I put this outline around it so that it kind of spaces it. I don't know if I really need that, but because I can move it around on the shape, but I just want to show what would happen if I did that. Here's my symbols. Let's make a new symbol out of that. Lego. Okay. And let's go into here, go into graphics. Here's my Lego thing. Oops, I can move that around. Oops, I put 2 there by accident, but yeah. This is a way for me to put that label on. Here I can move it around. And, oops. You want to just select it here. You can shrink it, scale it, put it on the side. Yep, so that's just another example of how I would use that, the graphics panel right here.